361 subscribers. I'm Chillmonger. I saw Birds of Prey, a movie I felt I was obliged to see because that's the nature of this YouTube channel. It was the ninth movie of the DC Films universe, and it was the ninth worst of the DC Films universe. 4 out of 10, especially because of the post-credit scene where she says, "Hey, you're still waiting in the theater? Well, I'm going to tell you about Batman." Screen cuts to black. You wait because you're like, oh, they're trolling. That's funny. Because they wouldn't have mentioned that we're here at the post-credit scene and not. They would have to reward us. Especially because they know this was a bad movie. They actually moved the embargo, the review embargo, closer to the release date of this film so that negative publicity couldn't come out. It wasn't like Shazam where you could talk about the movie freaking 2 months before its release of that Thursday night. No, no, no. This film made you wait. So they knew it was going to be bad. And then they said, we're going to keep that in there. You're telling me this Batman film that's coming next year, it's already in pre-production. Harley Quinn couldn't got on the microphone and said, all right, Puddins, I'll hook you guys up since Joker broke up with me. Here's how it goes down. The beginning of Batman film, X and Y and Z. Here's the setting. Because all this commotion I just caused here in Gotham, you're going to hear about on Batman. And make it seem like this movie actually had a place in this universe. Same city, it was Gotham. So you got to think that Batman was doing something. What was he doing here? I don't know. World's greatest detective, right? But that regular detective could figure out Harley Quinn broke up with Joker and her making that explosion was her announcement of that. World's greatest detective couldn't do that. He couldn't figure, Harley Quinn must be there right now. I'm going to show up. Robin, come here. Does he even have a Robin? I don't know. And I don't know because Harley Quinn didn't tell me at the end of her film. The film plot was just basic. They did this cheap thing where when she showed up in the police station with sandbags and managed to beat these incompetent Grand Theft Auto San Andreas police, so many side rants. I'll get to the side rant there. But when she showed up to the police station, the cheap trick of this was the movie stopped and Harley tells us, "You're probably wondering how we got here. Let me explain why Black Canary is huddled up on the phone trying to tell me about Cassandra Cain. Let me explain XYZ." That's cheap. I don't have this great sense of enlightenment when it comes around and it goes, "Oh, now I understand." There was never an, "Oh, because you were withholding information from me," film. That's why I don't like that and think it's cheap. But the side rant that I opened, let me open the tab on my brain. Oh yes, it was a rated R film, but they did things like sandbag shooting, and they did things I didn't think a rated R film would do. There were enough times where they could have went all the way up there with the rated R. They could have been really violent. There could have been more swearing, but they didn't. So I give it its applause for that. But I also think that's because this movie was just going to be a hard PG-13, especially with the kid right there. I think maybe that was the idea. We're going to make it a hard PG-13. They didn't show the face being cut off by Black Mask. Why? I don't know. Maybe because he knew about the Dharma Initiative. That's an inside reference to Lost. Maybe because this was supposed to be a PG-13 film. Couple of things that were a little bit vulgar, like when she was air humping in the club. What else did she do? Oh, when she took that big inhale. Remember when they were shooting up the drug spot and then all the powder was in the air and she got super extra powerful because of the contents within her nostrils. That was about as far as they went, which is rated R, yes, but they could do a whole lot. They could have leaned more on Margot Robbie's body. They chose not to. With the exception of she was wearing short shorts, which by 1975 standards, I'm sure people are gonna be like, "What are you talking about? She was on that pole. This was a rated R film." But by things we understand now and things that we're more accepting of, this was just, I guess it was rated R. I guess so. So I want to give it its points at least for just not leaning on things that they could have leaned on. Now again, in the 80s, someone's watching this like, "Did you hear what she said about the sexy corset that could keep the girls up? Did you hear that?" Yeah, okay, but it was good job for it by doing that. Cassandra Cain was in here, and her toilet humor about, remember when Black Canary showed up? What? She taped you up to a toilet? Mm-hmm. I laughed at that point. And that was the only point in the movie I laughed. Which is this was supposed to be a funny movie. There were a lot of jokes in here that landed terribly. Like the only time I audibly laughed was that one. Now you can still have jokes that'll make me feel like happy and I won't actually laugh in the film, but no, of the movies of these movies nowadays, I really expect to laugh. Like remember, I am Groot, I am Steve Rogers. It's funny because Captain America just thinks he's introducing himself, and Cap is going to introduce himself back. He doesn't know that those are the only three words he says. But when you're just meeting a guy, oh my god, it's hilarious. I'm I'm smiling right now talking about it. This didn't have that many moments, but that was the funniest movie. That was the funniest moment I've ever had in a movie theater. What was funnier than that? Comment section. What's funnier than that joke? I am Steve Rogers. Knee slapper. Knee slapper. Um, let's talk about characters. Black Canary is actually the daughter of Black Canary. Um, everyone who says they should never casted a black woman, they should have been a blonde, white. I'm with you. I agree with you. However, they did make an effort to make it correct. I still would have just took the white woman. I don't. I'm not a guy who goes, yes, we got somebody black in the film. Were they black in the comic books? No, or white, or if they change it from a woman to a man. Just give me comic book accurate and I'll be happy. I also don't want to be one of those channels, so we'll move on to the next topic. However, there's some, now I'm being one of those channels. There's some legitimacy to some of these complaints, of course. But when the focus of your channel is to complain about tokenization, yani, everything that has to do with um a race that isn't white or the woman gender, then yeah, I can see what you're doing, and I don't want to be one of those people. But in this case, I guess I'm with you. Um, Huntress was done well, right? Dry humor. Who else was in here? The villains weren't done well. The Black Mask, or we'll call him Rowan, didn't like him at all. He died by a grenade, which again, that's that rated R stuff that we got rated R grenade stuff. However, as he was holding Cassandra Cain hostage, I don't want to believe that Harley Quinn was so far away from him. She says, "Remember that ring you gave me?" She pulls the grenade, and then Harley Quinn could make it up to him and knock him off the bridge. Get out of here! On that bridge, when there was all that fog, Ewan McGregor's voice sounded like Obi-Wan Kenobi as he was saying something from the far distance when they were hidden in the fog. That was the only time in the film because I remember during the movie I was lost of this. I was lost of Obi-Wan Kenobi, who was someone I associate this man with. So that Scottish accent went away. Good job by Ewan McGregor. And good job by Margot Robbie, who her voice is so good. And she understands this Harley Quinn character. When she was talking to the Huntress, telling her about how these revenge things are never emotionally satisfying, because she is a psychiatrist, as they explained early in the film. When she was telling Cassandra Cain in the car, "You're lying to me. I can tell by the inflection in your voice. You're barely maintaining eye contact." These were things that this like scientist would say. Is it a scientist? She's a doctor. A doctor would say these things. Good job by Margot Robbie. That can't be said enough, man. Especially again for not leaning on her body. I like that because I kind of respect women over here on Chillmonger. Um, well, so what so if she had a little clothing, it wouldn't be respectful. You don't think Suicide Squad was respectful? No, I guess no. Um, context is everything. Why why am I sighing as if I gotta get everything out of for this review? No, who cares? It's just a stupid Birds of Prey movie. It wasn't great. 4 out of 10. I can't believe what they did for me in the post credit scene. It was garbage, man. Answer the question in the comments, which I asked 3 minutes ago, but I don't even remember what the question was. But answer that question. As far as like the DC universe, worst of all of them. Aquaman was on fire. They were winning. The last time we saw them was Joker. Joker was pretty good, even though Joker is an Elseworld, and I think that movie took place. Well, it took place before cell phones because a lot of that stuff couldn't slide. But that movie is not considered. She wasn't dating that guy. That not that Joker. She was dating the Jared Leto Joker. But this was the worst of the worst. Wonder Woman, come and clean this taste off of my mouth. I'll see you in July. Before what's next? From Black Widow. You know what's crazy? Four of these films are directed by women. It's gonna be this one Harley Quinn, this one Black Widow, Wonder Woman, and the Eternals by Marvel, all directed by women, and that's nice. Girl power. Name is Chillmonger. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Thumbs up the video if you forgot to when you needed a guy to actually tell you to like the video. Canada forever.